On March the 6th, 2016, we lost an icon in the passing of First Lady Nancy Reagan. During her tenure as First Lady of the United States, Mrs. Reagan served with grace, elegance, and tenacity. Mrs. Reagan was a trusted advisor, confidant, and most importantly, devoted spouse to our 40th President, Ronald Reagan. Since her passing, I believe that it is of utmost importance to preserve Mrs. Reagan's legacy so that future generations may appreciate the contributions that she made to our country. It's for these reasons that I introduced legislation in the 114th Congress and again in the current Congress to redesignate Gravelly Point Park, located along the George Washington Memorial Parkway in Arlington County, Virginia, as the Nancy Reagan Memorial Park. As you may be aware, Gravelly Point is a popular destination in Arlington County, Virginia. It sits adjacent to Ronald Reagan National Airport. The park is regularly utilized for a number of outdoor activities like biking, running, picnicking, and simply watching planes land and depart from Reagan National. The first accounting for Gravelly Point nickname was found in 1862 on a map created by the U.S. Coastal Survey on the Potomac River, which places the area on the southern tip of the now non-existent Alexander's Island. Most of this area was used for sand and gravel excavation during the mid to late 19th century. However, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers engaged in substantial dredging of the Potomac River during the 19-teens through the 1950s. Deposits from these operations were set down on the western bank of the Potomac, eventually creating Columbia Island and reestablishing the old shoreline of the area nicknamed Gravelly Point. The National Park Service has confirmed that Gravelly Point Park received its name due to the large amount of gravel that was deposited there during these dredging operations. And Mr. Chairman, unless this committee is in the business of continually to memorialize sediment deposits, which I don't believe we are, then there is no historic significance whatsoever to the current name. Therefore, it's my position that since Ronald and Nancy Reagan are forever linked in their work and in their final resting place at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library in California, I believe there's no better location to rename after Mrs. Reagan than this beautiful park adjacent to the airport that is named in honor of her beloved husband and our 40th president. So this bill has garnered wide support here in the House, including the majority of the Virginia delegation and 7 of 10 subcommittee chairs in Natural Resources Committee. The bill has also been endorsed by Americans for Tax Reform. In fact, I have a letter here from them that I'd like to be added to the record. And I simply ask your support on this bill to honor the life and legacy of one of our nation's great leaders, and I yield back.